Wouldn't it be in your interest to try to convince all the Americans that you don't want more data centers in your county and to make that a political issue going into the midterms? Like, do you think it's possible that China has been seeding messaging and other things like that so that people fight against data centers and it becomes like a homegrown, we don't want data centers when really it's China pushing behind the scenes?
Certainly could be. And if it is seeded by them, at least partially or fully, they're doing a really good job at it because it's an issue that reaches across the aisle. Um, Kathy Hochul and Josh Shapiro both are Democrats, but you had a Michigan former representative that was putting forward a bill, I believe, in the Michigan state legislature for a similar thing like this. So if it is all a coordinated psyop from the Chinese, then uh, it's certainly hit home with a lot of people, and it might have a little bit of truth to it, even if it's got pernicious intent. I wouldn't doubt that China is not past sowing seeds of division in U.S. politics. It's certainly when you have your biggest adversary and the most, I guess, crucial technology that they're developing, it's you'd like to hinder some of that development and give your local homegrown companies the ability to gain an advantage.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it is funny though, because it did go across both sides. I'm pretty sure the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, also, I don't know if it was a moratorium on data centers, but he definitely put something out about data centers. And I remember him talking about it saying, well, we don't even have the electricity capacity to bring on these data centers that they're talking about. So I
right,
mean, it would be physically impossible for us to power these data centers with the current electricity that we have in our state. And I know Texas is their own electric grid, so they are a
right.
little bit more constrained by what they have, and they can't take electricity from other states as easily. But it would be
Florida has a
funny if
similar
China
thing
was,
too.
yeah, if China is behind all this, though, it would be funny because they've actually united both parties a little bit on this one topic. And it's a
Yeah.
topic that I, people, it seems like everyone agrees, but I don't think there's necessarily that much fact behind it right now. It seems like historically adding data centers in your county has lowered the price of electricity for the constituents because it's just a larger base load, so they can have more power, and therefore it's cheaper for each individual person using it. But
Mhm.
that's probably because there was excess capacity on the grid at the time. So if we
Yeah.
start straining it beyond the excess capacity, we're going to have to build more, which is going to add to the fixed costs, which will then make the price of power for each person in the county higher. So it's not set in stone that adding more data centers will lower or raise the cost. I think it's still yet to be seen. But I guess there's other things like water with the cooling, though I'm pretty sure that they are working on other liquid cooling solutions in a closed loop, so it doesn't actually use more liquid each time. It
Right.
just stays the same liquid and it cools it down. It just works in a closed loop. And then there's the noise complaint with the fans and stuff like that, which might be true. And I've seen videos of people probably like a mile away from a data center where you could still hear a slight humming going on in the background. I'm pretty sure that's true in Loudoun County, Virginia, at least in some places. But I think that's been the case before. And it's one of the richest counties in the country. So people, there's costs and benefits associated with it. But I guess if you're in a bigger city or a place that's noisy anyway, it might not be as big of a deal as if you were, in the countryside and it's super
Right.
quiet, and then all of a sudden you got this constant humming going on in the background. So
Right.
it might depend on what you're used to a little bit.